श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। So we are looking at verse number 23. No. So I think we have to start. What verse number 26? Yeah. Mukta sangaha anahamvadi dhriti utsaha samanvitaha siddhya siddhyor nirvikaraha karta satvika uchyate. So here the threefold classification of karta. Jnanam karma cha karta cha tridhaiva guna bhedataha. So that is what we are looking into. So jnanam, karma and karta. So they can be divided into three levels in terms of the gunas. So what are the three levels of jnanam that we saw from verse number 24, 24, 25 and 26, 23, 24 and 25. So niyatam sangarahitam aragadveshatakritam aphala prepsuna karma yat tat satvikam uchyate. So satvika karma, so where one just does what is to be done without bothering about the outcome. So not without expecting a result, but without bothering about the result. So whatever it is. So just like what it was said in the second chapter and the third chapter also. So the second chapter, Lord Krishna, after Karmanyeva Adhikaraste. So the next verse he said, Yogastha Kuru Karmani Sangam Tyaktva Dhananjaya Siddhya Siddhyo Samo Bhutva Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. So Siddhi Asiddhyoho Samaha Bhutva. So now, whether you get a positive outcome or a negative outcome, you have the same response to it. Not that you expect want a negative outcome, but sometimes inevitably there is a negative outcome. So you do not take it upon your head. So take responsibility for the negative outcome on your head and beat yourself up about it. So samatvam yoga uchyate. And then he also said, Buddhi yukto jahatiha ubhe sukrita dushkrite tasmat yogaya yujyasva yogaha karmasu kaushalam. Sukrita dushkrite, both punya and papa. You ignore whether I get punya or whether I get papa. it is immaterial. I just do what is to be done. Naturally, you will not do anything that will incur papa, but the idea is that you're not excessively focused on the outcome. So these are the two main shlokas of um, Karma Yoga. So defining Karma Yoga. So Samatvam Yoga Uchyate and then Yogaha Karmasu Kaushala. And then in the third chapter also, so Lord Krishna said, नैव तस्य कृतेनार्थः न कृतेनेह कश्चन न चास्य सर्वभूतेषु कश्चिदर्थ व्यपाश्रयः तस्माद् असक्तः सततं कार्यं कर्म समाचर असक्तो हि आचरन् कर्म परमाप्नोति पूरुषः. So verse number 18 and 19 of the third chapter. So I'm referring to that because 18th chapter is the conclusion. So what I'm trying to say is that he's not saying anything new. So what he has said earlier, that is what he is concluding here. So the salient message that he has conveyed earlier, that he is conveying here in a different format. That's all. So naiva tasya kritena arthaha na akriteneha kaschana. So he does not do any gain anything either by doing something or by avoiding something. That is, there is nothing personal to be accomplished, nothing selfish to be accomplished. So asak nacha asya bhuteshu kaschidartha vyapashrayah. So there is no motive at all in whatever one does. It's very difficult for someone who is completely in the real world to understand this idea. So how will I do anything without being interested in the outcome? Because the outcome is everything. So people assume that anything that anyone does, it is only for satisfying one's own desire for power or wealth or ego. People cannot even think that there can be other ways of looking at karma. So that is why Lord Krishna wants to say that there is a possibility. So one can do. So naiva tasya kritena arthaha na akriteneha kaschana na chasya sarva bhuteshu kaschidartha vyapashrayah. And then next verse he said, Tasmad asakta satatam karyam karma samachara asakto hi acharan karma paramapnoti purusha. So tasmad asakta. So here, these are verses 18 and 19 from the third chapter. So you can just note it down for a reference if you want. So tasmad asaktaha, hence not being excessively focused on the outcome. Karyam karma samachara. So perform your duty. So do what needs to be done. Asakto hi acharan karma paramapnoti purusha. So that is how people go all the way and then gain moksha. Param apnoti. So again, same thing was said here. Niyatam sangarahitam. So that is why I refer to those verses. Sangarahitam. So without being attached. Aragadveshata kritam aphala prepsuna karma yat tat satvikam uchite. So this kind of mindset, attitude is satvika. But normally people have a rajasika or a tamasika outlook. So he also says, Yattu, what is that? So that one can avoid going in that direction. So Rajasa and Tamasa are described so that we are aware that if at all we are going in that direction, I can catch myself. So, and pull myself back. Yattu kame suna karma. So that which is done purely with selfish motives. Kame psuna. Kama ipsa. So desperately motivated by a selfish desire. Sahankarena, and done with a lot of ego. Sahankarena va punaha kriyate bahulayasam tat rajasam udakritam. So that kind of effort, bahula ayasam. So that kind of effort is called rajasa. And then tamasa also he talked about anubandham kshayam hinsam anapekshya cha paurusham mohat arabhyate karma yati tamasam uchyate. So anubandham. So not thinking about the consequences. Anaveksha. So and kshayam, not thinking about how whatever I do is going to hurt anyone else. So inflict damage upon anything. So this is where environmental concern also comes into the picture. So if I do something where I end up destroying the environment, because plants are also looked at as live entities. So destroying the environment would amount to inflicting injury, inflicting damage. So kshayam, himsa, that is himsa, and then kshayam, and also not considering what I would lose by doing this. So what I stand to lose. Sometimes the short-term benefit may be big, but in the long term, I may lose something much bigger. So not considering that would be tamasika. And moha, paurusham. And so, and one's own capacity. So this I did not explain. So not thinking whether I am capable of doing something. So whether I have the ability to do it. So assuming too much about oneself. So whether I have the capacity to do something. And mohat arabhyate karma. So that which is begun with confusion or with wrong understanding, moha, yad tat tamasam uchyate. So this is tamasa jnanam, tamasa attitude. So sattvika attitude, rajasika and tamasika. Then, so he will divide karta into three types. So first is verse number 26. Mukta sango naham vadi trityutsaha samanvitaha siddhya siddhyor nirvikaraha karta satvika uchyate. So mukta sangaha. Again, the same thing is stated. So mukta sangaha. So earlier he said sangarahitam, niyatam sangarahitam. Now he is saying mukta sangaha. Finally, it all boils down to this. So mukta sangaha, and all the verses that I just referred to, you can look at that. So second chapter, yogastaha, and buddhi yukto jahatiha, and verses in the third chapter, 17th and 18th verses. So, naiva tasya kritena artaha, na kriteneha kaschana. So, all of that. Mukta sangaha, anaham vadi, does not have an ego. So, earlier he said sahankarena. Now he's saying anaham vadi. It's the same word, in fact. So, anaham vadi, dhriti utsaha samanvitaha. And with a lot of determination. So, dhriti. So, here, dhriti is primarily in the direction of gaining moksha, in the direction of self-knowledge. So, that is the dhriti here. Even for Rajasika, Tamasika, you need dhriti, some dhriti you need. But here, the dhriti is primarily spiritual in nature, for the sake of a spiritual growth. So that is the dhriti that is meant here. And you are firmly holding on to what you have learned from the Shastra. So that attitude, those attitudes, one is firmly holding on to. Dhriti and utsaha, with a lot of enthusiasm. So even when one is working for moksha, it doesn't mean that one should give up being enthusiastic. So you can be enthusiastic. So when you are clear that this is what is to be done, this is the right way to go. So then you can be enthusiastic about it. If there is no clarity, then the enthusiasm will not be there. Will be a lot lesser, and one would need to be motivated. That's why people look for motivation for spirituality. In fact, it cannot come from outside. So you have to motivate yourself. So someone asks, why should I attend these classes? So you decide. So you think whether it is worthwhile or it is not worthwhile. So you have to motivate yourself. So that is utsaha. So that utsaha samanvitaha, endowed with dhriti and utsaha, determination and enthusiasm. Siddhi asiddhyoho nirvikaraha. Same word that was there in the second chapter. Siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. So that is what was said in the third chapter. Second chapter. So siddhya siddhyoho samo bhutva. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya. Siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. So here siddhya siddhyoho nirvikaraha. Siddhya siddhyoho samatvam. So it's the same thing as siddhya siddhyoho nirvikara. So remaining unchanging whether the outcome is positive or negative, expected or not wanted or not wanted. So nirvikara. Because you are not doing it for the outcome itself. You are doing it for the sake of your own chitta shuddhi. In fact, all duties are meant only for that. Duties are only meant for clearing one's debts. All of us come with a lot of debts. And duties, by performing our duties, we are only using the opportunity to clear our debts. Clear our debts to various people, to the environment, whatever debt we may have. Then you are free. See, until you clear your debt, then you are indebted. once you clear the debt, then you are free. That is moksha. So clearing of one's debt, whatever relationship it is, whether it is the closest relationship, even your own husband, wife, children, it is all just clearing debt. Bottom line, it boils down to this. And you do it cheerfully, because who has entered into the debt? You have entered. No one else has entered into the debt. So either in this lifetime or earlier, you have entered into a debt. So you have agreed upon something. So clear it off and be free. That is why Lord Krishna is going to end the teaching with Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Give up all dharma and just surrender to me. So don't give up all your own knots that you have tied yourself up with, and just surrender. Do the duty, and rest will be taken care of. So if you surrender. So that is why here he says Siddhya Siddhyoho Nirvikaraha. So if you ask the question, why should I have the same attitude towards a positive result and negative result? Because it is just helping you clear off your debt. So pay off your dues and then be free. Karta Satvikaha Uchyate. One who has this attitude, that Karta is Satvika. See, duty towards parents is also a debt without attachment, because you have entered into a debt with the parents. So you clear it off cheerfully. If one does not do that, then the debt will be carried over. Come back next Janma to clear it, or some other Janma to clear it. So duties help you clearing off your debts. And Jnanam helps you take the final step. So this is how duties help you prepare yourself for Jnana. So you cannot take the final step without performing the duties, because you have to clear the debts first. You cannot directly go to Sarvadharman Parityaja. That is why you limit the responsibility that you keep taking up. So don't avoid taking up new responsibilities as much as possible. Whatever responsibilities you have till now. So just focus on that, and try to clear it off. Then you are free. If you have not taken too much responsibility, then you are fortunate. So this is how it is. Then he talks about Rajasa Karta. Ragi Karmaphala Prepsuhu Lubdho Himsatmako Shuchihi Harsha Shokanvita Karta Rajasaf Parikirtitaha. So here also it is quite similar to Rajasa Jnanam. Ragi, on the other hand, one who is always obsessed with the outcome. Ragi, with what one wants. Karma phala prepsuhu. And the desire for experiencing the result of what one does. So a tangible benefit. That is what one is obsessed with. Lubdhaha, one becomes greedy, does not know where to stop the line. I mean, where to draw the line. Generally, that is a problem. So you start with a certain destination in mind. Once you reach that, you shift the goalpost. So one gets greedy. So this is not enough. This is not enough. Some more, some more, some more. That is lubdha, comes from lobha. Lub- So lubdha, himsatmakaha, and one who is prone to damaging. Himsatmakaha. There are some people, whatever you give them, they will they will damage it very soon, as soon as possible. So that is because instead of trying to use it, so they will try to find a way how to break it. So here also, people who take pleasure in injuring and damaging. So that is himsatmaka. That is a natural tendency with some people. So they will exactly do the wrong thing. So no one without going in the right direction naturally go in the wrong direction. So himsatmakaha. If one has the tendency, then one has to overcome it. And ashuchihi. This was not said earlier, but this is not being very clean, not committed to cleanliness. So just throwing things, especially in India, that happens. People don't even think. You have something in your hand, you don't want it, just throw it wherever you feel like. But there are some people who just pick up and then keep it and look for a proper garbage disposal. That is one good thing about the West. So people have a natural tendency for cleanliness. Here also it was like that, but people lost it somewhere. So there is no commitment to cleanliness, either personal cleanliness or external cleanliness, both. So ashuchihi, so not being clean. And harsha shoka anvitaha. So one who swings between elation and depression. Sometimes you are just uncontrollably happy. And some other time, you're just completely down in the dumps. So that is how the person oscillates. So between uncontrollable happiness and uncontrolled sadness. So harsha, shoka, anvitaha. Karta, rajasaha, vikiritaha. So this kind of a karta is called rajasa karta. So same thing that Lord Krishna said in the second chapter also. So Bhoga Aishwarya Prasaktanam, he said. So Bhoga and Aishwarya, if one was interested in this. So anyone who is interested in a lot of activity would necessarily be like this. And then, yeah, So Harsha Shoka Anvitaha Karta Rajasaha Parikirtitaha. And then Tamasa Karta. Ayuktah Prakritastabdhaha Shadho Naishkriti Kolasah Vishadi Tirkha Sutri cha Karta Tamasa Uchyate. Ayuktaha. So one who is all over the place. Ayuktaha. So who does not know where to go. Confused. So that is ayuktaha. So not directionless. So that is ayuktaha. What I should do. Prakritaha. One who does not have maturity. That is why being old does not necessarily mean you are wise. So one has to consciously work to become wise. Most people, even though they are old, but the maturity is not there. So prakritaha. Still you are confused what should be said, what should not be said. You are not very clear about what you have to do. So that is immaturity. So prakritaha, and then stabdhaha, does not have any reverence. Respect. Here there are various levels. So there may be some reverence, but not enough, not adequate. Some people who can never bend, that person is a stabdhaha. That's why Shankaracharya stays stiff like a stick. So that is how he describes it. You cannot bend like a Duryodhana. So he could never bend to anyone because he was raised like that by his father. So that was his problem. So stabdhaha and shataha, prone to deception. There are so many scams. So we hear about scams all over the world, not just India. So scams of all varieties. And there are online scams also. So people just send a link, you click on the link, then they hack your phone. So that is why there are these nice ads by RBI nowadays saying, tell those people that I'm not a fool. But there are people who are trying to cheat you. And there are people who are naturally inclined towards that. There was one who become experts also at that. So there was one movie, very nice movie. So by Leonardo DiCaprio. So where he defrauds banks. I forget the name of the movie. So where he defrauds banks, and later someone from the FBI hires him to in fact find ways how people think of defrauding. So that is it's a nice movie. So there are people who have this talent. So that is also a talent. To have this talent to scam. So he's talking about such people. Shataha. That name of the movie is Catch Me If You Can. Yeah, that's the name of the book. It's a very nice book. So finally, he becomes a great resource for the FBI. So that kind of tendency, that person is called a shataha. And naishkritikaha, who's given to injuring. So cruel, like a Hitler. Hitler, extreme case. So a person who likes being cruel. There are people like that. So they like to be cruel. Some internal problem, definitely it's a psychological problem. But if you have that, you have to question. So naishkritikaha and alasah and lazy, procrastinating. No, lazy. Procrastinating comes next. So lazy. You are just want to idle away without doing anything. So alasaha and vishadi dirgha sutricha. Vishadi, one who likes to be sad. Is there anyone who likes to be sad? Yes, there are people. In fact, most of us are like that. If you see someone is sad, if you give a solution, they will refuse to accept the solution. So the only thing you can conclude from that is they like misery. So they like to be in misery because you are refusing to accept a solution when the solution can be implemented, but still you want to continue in that misery. That person is a Vishadi. Lot of people, suppose you're suffering from some physical problem. So someone says that you go to this place or you avoid this, then that will help you get rid of this ailment. People will not avoid. Suppose you have diabetes, you avoid sugar. But there are people who stealthily, secretly eat sugar, diabetics. Why would anyone do that? Because I think you people like suffering. It is like that. A common, normal person, most of the human beings, they tend to like suffering. Someone comes and teaches Vedanta also. So this is how your attitude should be. But people will not listen. No, I like to be like this. There will be some sadness. So why should I change? That's the attitude. That person is called a Vishadi. So Vishadi. And then Dirgha Sutri, one who procrastinates. See, all of us have at least some of this. It doesn't mean that one should be a complete Tamasakarta or a complete Rajasakarta or a complete Satvikakarta. Everywhere, even Jnanam, it is always a mixture. So the least amount of Tamasa and Rajasa is preferable. There is always some Tamasa, some Rajasa in everyone. But when one has a complete mixture of Tamasa or Rajasa, then it becomes a serious problem. So this is just to give a glimpse for us to evaluate ourselves, as I said earlier. So all these things are only for evaluating and for self-correction. So whether I'm procrastinating, some people like to just sit on something without doing anything. You don't want to, you try to forget, you just put it off your mind. Not allow your mind to even think about it. So that person is a Dirgha Sutri. If you have that, then you have to overcome it. So do something positive to overcome that. So Vishadi Dirgha Sutri cha Karta Tamasa Uchyate. So here a lot of important points to evaluate ourselves are listed here. Ayuktaha, one who is confused or not clear. So Prakritaha, not enough maturity. Stabdhaha, one who is too arrogant, does not bend. And Shataha, one who is prone to scamming people, cheating people. So Shataha. And Naishkritikaha, one who is cruel. And Alasaha, lazy. Vishadi, one who likes being sad. Like I said, the way some people refuse to overcome suffering. Dirgha Sutri, one who likes to procrastinate a lot. Karta Tamasa Uchyate. So this person is a Tamasa Karta. And then let's move to the next verse. So we have seen Jnanam, Karma, and Karta. Now we will look at, so he's going to take up a couple of what he has said here and going to classify it into three varieties again. So we look at this verse number 29. Buddhir-bhedam dhruteshchaiva gunatastrividham shruno prochyamanamasheshena pruthatvena dhananjaya. He Dhananjaya, Asheshena, completely, Prithaktvena, and being properly classified. Prochyamanam. So what is being told? Gunataha, classification according to the gunas. Buddhehe dhritehe cha eva trividam bhedam shruno. So listen to the classification of the threefold classification of buddhi and dhriti. So here buddhi is mind. Threefold classification of the mind. And dhriti also, threefold kinds of determination. Threefold kinds of mind and threefold kinds of determination. See, they are all connected with each other. You cannot look at them as exclusive. Jnanam, karma, karta, because it all stems from the mind. So the mind, the attitude will be involved in everything. So in all the classifications. So here he says buddhi and dhriti and determination also. Because determination, as I said, there, he means determination for spiritual knowledge, primarily. In he described, the way he described Satvika. Satvika Karta, Dhriti Utsaha Samanvitaha. Verse number 26. Mukta Sangaha Anahamvadi Dhriti Utsaha Samanvitaha. So because it was Satvika, I said that it is determination for the sake of one's own spiritual pursuit. Being determined to grow spiritually. So that is how I said. But here he says, Dhriti itself, it need not necessarily be in a spiritual direction, in the knowledge of Atma Jnana, but it can be other varieties also. So let me talk about that, and then you look at yourself, what kind of Dhriti you have. So whether it is in a spiritual direction or whether it is in some other direction, in a mundane direction. So let me make it clear. See, this clarity is very good because generally these are all very gray areas. So determination and all these things are very gray areas. So you have clarity, Lord Krishna says that you have that clarity, and then you have no doubt whatsoever. To show a mirror to yourself. That is the only reason. So empower yourself and then do what needs to be done. So showing the mirror to yourself is just empowering yourself. So these are all, this is how it is. Use it if you want to. If you don't want, then who is the loser? So we can decide for ourselves. So that's what he says. Buddhi and dhriti also I will classify. The mind I will classify into three, and dhriti I will classify into three. So verse number 30. Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha karya karye bhaya bhaye bandham moksham cha ya vetti buddhissa partha satviki. So this is a satvika buddhi, satvika mind. Pravritti. What is it that I should do? Pravritti. Nivritti. What I should avoid, stay away from. Pravrittim cha, nivrittim cha. Karya, akarya. What is to be done and what is not to be done. Lord Krishna said at the end of the 16th chapter, Tasmat Shastram Pramanante Karya Akarya Vyavasthitau. Here also he is using the same compound. Karya Karye. So there he said, Tasmat Shastram Pramanante. Let the Shastra be your guide in educating you about what you should do and what you should not do. So what is good for you and what is not good for you. Here also he says karya akarya. One who is very clear about that. One who has adequate knowledge of do's and don'ts. In fact, the whole Shastra is full of do's and don'ts. So what is it that you should, what is the direction you should go in, what you should not go in. This is very important because many times that is the source of confusion. What is it that I should be really doing? Whether I should be doing this or doing something else. This is the main reason for aviveka. Whether this job is right for me or something else is not right. This job is not right or I should do something else. So whether this partner is good for me or this partner is not good for me. So it is all about deciding what you have to do, what you should not do. That is why this Gayatri mantra, there you pray exactly for this. Tat saviturvarenyam bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yaha naha prachodaya. Please illumine our intellects about what I should do and what I should not do. It basically asks for viveka. So deciding between what should be done and what should not be done. You're praying to the Savitri Devata, to Surya Devata. So that Surya Devata stands for light. Light stands for knowledge. And they are praying for knowledge. And the person who is chanting Gayatri Mantra is not chanting only for himself. Naha Prachodaya. So he is chanting for everyone around. Because it is not enough to have clarity for myself alone. If others around me don't have the clarity, then I'm in trouble. I can have clarity, but I will be troubled because others don't have clarity. So the Gayatri mantra intelligently prays for everyone around. Let everyone around me have that clarity. So it's a very practical prayer. So this is what you are praying for. And one who has that person has sattvika buddhi. So with Gayatri Mantra, you are praying for a sattvika buddhi. That is what it amounts to. Give me the clarity. So if you are not doing Gayatri Mantra, it is fine. Still, you can pray for sattvika buddhi. It doesn't mean that only if you ask for clarity through Gayatri Mantra, you will get a clear mind. So you can still ask for clarity and you will get it. So I can work for it. So karya, akarya, and then bhaya and abhaya. What you should be scared of and what you should not be scared of. You should also, if, but you can say, you can ask, but the Shastra says that you will be fearless. That is, that is at the absolute level. So, but at the relative level, you need to be wary also, not fearful, but wary of certain things and not be wary of certain other things. So, like in the Mahabharata, um, Arjuna, just before the war, so Arjuna is preparing for the war. So he is sharpening his weapons, and so he is doing everything possible by him so that he is well prepared. And then one of his brothers, I think Nakula or Sahadeva, one of them, he goes and asks him, so do you also have fear? Because there is no one who is better than him. He's the best. So Arjuna says that yes, there is, one should always be fearful of the unknown. And one should not get overconfident. So that kind of being wary, if you don't have any fear at all, then you become overconfident and arrogant. But being aware of the possibilities, it could always go wrong. So that keeps you grounded and that keeps you alert. So here, this person has has the required amount of wariness, bhaya and abhaya, is also fearful for what one need not fear. So one does not fear. So what one needs to be wary of, one is wary of that. So adequate preparation one does. So thinking about the various options. And bandham moksham cha yaveti buddhissa partha satviki. So one who has clarity about bondage. What is bondage and what is freedom? Samsara is bondage and Atma Jnanam is freedom. So this clarity one needs to have. Anything within the relative world is samsara. It has to be, it has to be tempered. You cannot completely avoid, it has to be managed properly. So bandha and moksha also one is clear about. So that kind of a buddhi, if one has this is sattvika buddhi. So again, I have to show myself this mirror. So do I know pravritti and nivritti? What I should do, what I should not do. And then karya and okay. So pravritti, karya also can have the same meaning. Pravritti, nivritti, which direction I should take, which direction I should not take. Karya, akarya, what I should do, what I should not do. And or pravritti and nivritti, you can also take it as what is the pursuit of karma. So that is the technical way of taking it. What is the role of karma, and nivritti, what is the role of sannyasa? If you have clarity about that, what karma gives and what sannyasa gives. Again, that is the topic here, so we can take that meaning. So what is karma and what is sannyasa? And karya, akarya. What should be done and what should not be done. So nitya karma, naimittika karma, and pratishiddha karma is also there. Nishiddha karma. What should be avoided. And bhaya and abhaya. What you should fear and what you should be fearless of. Bhaya and abhaya. And bandha and moksha. What is bondage? What is freedom? So this clarity, if I have, I know what is the role of karma. I know what is the role of sannyasa. And so I decide whether I take up the direction of karma or go in the direction of sannyasa. And then I know karya, akarya. I know bhaya, abhaya, what is to be feared, what is to not to be feared, and what is freedom and what is bondage, bandham and moksha. So this buddhi is sattvika buddhi. So again, yeah. So what he talked about earlier, he is elaborating on that. And then rajasa buddhi. So we'll look at rajasa buddhi also. Just read the verse and then continue from the next class. Yaya dharmama dharmancha karyam cha karyameva cha ayathavat prajanati buddhissa partha rajasi. So one who has clarity about dharma and adharma, who does not have clarity. Ayathavat prajanati. So one who misunderstands dharma and adharma. So what is dharma, you understand as adharma. And what is dharma, you understand as adharma, you understand as dharma. So you're confused basically. That's why Arjuna says, not Arjuna, Duryodhana says in the Mahabharata, Janami dharmam nachame pravritti. Janami adharmam nachame nivritti. I know what is dharma, but I cannot follow dharma. Janami adharmam nachame nivritti. I know what I should not do, but something is pushing me towards doing that. See, so many people are advising him. It is not that he also doesn't know, but he is forced as though into commit into to the other adharmic way. केनापि ईशेन हृदि स्थितेन यथा नियुक्तोस्मि तथा करोमि. There is something inside which is always making me go in the wrong direction. So that's what he's also talking about here. So one who is confused about dharma and adharma and karya and akarya. So we will look at that. We've seen all of this. So we will look at that in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.